Back. What's up, everybody? It's a beautiful Monday, December the 17th at 6:52 in the morning. Not everybody apparently knows you can turn right on red, but you know, it's an interesting thing. That's just good old life for you. I hate that shit. Anyway, I could be confrontational, and I wouldn't mind to be, and pull up to this car, let them know in America when it's red, you can turn right. Everywhere. Not like some states. Everywhere. Unless there's a sign that says no turn right. But that's not the point. That sign didn't. Anyway, good morning. How are you, everybody? So kind of an important video. So last video or the one before that, I talked about how important it is to like write shit down and make a plan. And it is. And this is just for me. If it benefits you, congrats. God bless. You know, if that God bless just offended you, I'm sorry. Whatever. But I'm not. So here's the thing. I was doing some reading yesterday, and an interesting point was made about something that was already apparent to me, but it just brought to my attention even more. And it talked about organizational skills after the fact. And what I mean by that is just basically, if you honestly expect to get better at something, whether it's like working out or comedy is what I'm talking about right now, actually, but everything, it applies to everything. You should always make a plan as far as like what you're going to say, or if you're in the gym, what you're going to do and stuff like that. That way you can progress. But 99.99% of everybody, that 1% that separates good to great and great to excellent, okay, does an after-action report. It's called an AAR in the Army. Yeah, after-action report. Go figure. And what that pretty much means is that, of course, you make a plan leading up to something, but you need to evaluate what you did after you concluded whatever you finished. Okay, so take joke telling, comedy, and stuff like that. Recording your results. That's pretty much a comment that mostly everybody does. But here's the catch: what do you do after you record the results? If you just record the results and you just look at it and you're like, oh, that's great, I did good, blah, blah, whatever, you're not doing anything with your life. It's no different than if you were a fighter and you didn't review how well you did and what you need to improve. But for some reason, everybody who claims to be organized or is organized, 99.99%, they always make a plan leading up to something. And they never really have, anybody who does that pretty much rarely ever has an after-action report to review what they did and how to make it better. And what was interesting in this book is that it was just spit and truth. And what I mean by that is that there was a part in it where it actually said, and I'm paraphrasing, but basically, you cannot have consistent results and consistently get better without recording your last results and reviewing them for the purpose of making them better. Now, everything that I'm saying, it sounds like it's common fucking sense, but if it's common sense, why don't you do it? If you do, it doesn't apply to you. But 99.99% of everybody who makes some sort of a plan for a vacation or for working out or for anything, you go there, you lift weights, you know, you do your damn thing. And for those that actually record it or taking the next step. But once you get back to your house, now I know this is just like an example for working out, but for comedy specifically, and this applies to all things. If you want to be a working professional and do something that you're passionate about, it applies more than anything else, because you're the one that is going to be driving yourself to that success. And that is, it's exactly your end results and reviewing and recording and making basically like a journal of your progression is how you should start out the following day's plan. So it's very naive to actually make a plan to do something without looking at how you did before. And most people leave that part out. They usually just start to make a plan that next day with like kind of some thought. But when you actually record your results, either with a pen or paper or whatever the fuck, excuse me, you actually have the opportunity to not miss a thing. It's kind of like that whole thing that I said about writing it down and getting it done. You cannot honestly expect to take yourself to that next level. And organization is key, but not leading up to the fact, it's also after the fact. You got to do that after action report. In the Army, what they do is they do 3 good things and 3 bad things. You say three things that went well, even if everything went to shit. You try to find 3 things that you did well, and then 3 things that you did bad well. But when it's something you really care about, like comedy, for me, or anything, the thing, if it's just something that you don't really, that you like, but you're not really driven for, it may not be as important, like working out or whatever the fuck. But for something that's so important to you, if it's something that you really want to do, you need to make an after-action report and list all the negatives. Don't be pessimistic, but you need to really evaluate what you do after you're done. And that's a separate report from, not report, but journal from your planning. When they're all mixed in together, it's hard to really see what you did bad, what you did good, and what you need to improve on. And the reason why I'm coming at you so serious like this is because that is actually something that, for the most part, even I myself have neglected to do to a degree. I've been kind of muddying up the waters, so to speak, because I've been doing them all together, when in all reality, the best way to optimize your performance is to separate them. You should have one before and one after. If you do it electronically on a Microsoft Word like I do, it's a lot easier. I also make notes in a little notepad. But it all comes down to leading up to a goal, executing your goal, and then recording how it went. Because in those results, you can always reflect back to it. Okay? How are you going to know if you have a consistent problem if you don't list your problems? You see what I'm saying? So, in the exact way, Thomas Edison is actually the guy who invented the light bulb. And it took him something nearly like 1,000 times before he got it right. And there was a famous news article one time that said, hey, Thomas, or Mr. Edison, however they pronounce, however they introduced him or said to him, they said, how do you feel that it took you almost 1,000 times to fail before realizing at the very last end that this is the only way that you can make the filament, the part of a light bulb that makes it turn on? And interestingly enough, as a scientist, as a professional, for something he was passionate about, his response was, I didn't learn almost 1,000 ways. Oh no, I'm sorry. His response was, I didn't learn 1,000 different ways of failing. I learned 1,000 different ways, almost, of what did not work, so it isn't repeated after me. And that's a really significant statement, because that basically means that even in his losses, it's not win or lose, it's win or learn. He recorded and he notated almost 1,000 different ways. And those mistakes are key knowledge and key facts when you want to improve something, so you don't have to go back to something that doesn't work. That alone is just such a big statement, because he's not looking at almost 1,000 things that didn't go well as failures. He looked at them as successful results for things that did not work. And I'm not just mincing my words, it's a real thing. Because you could try a technique, there could be 10 different ways. Let's just say jujitsu, which is the art of ground fighting, basically, and choking people out and breaking their shit. Certain moves aren't good for certain people. Not everybody can do a triangle choke, which is basically like choking somebody with your legs. Not everybody is good at other more exotic chokes and stuff like that, depending on your body size. Not everything works for everybody. But you need to know what doesn't work, just as importantly as you does. Listen, just as important as what does. So in the line of fire, if you're up on stage and something goes wrong, you know what not to say, or you know how to recover from it. Excuse me. I don't even come at you all aggressive and shit, but it was just really important to me. I actually did another video this morning about this very topic, but I'm a little amped up. I just got out of the gym. But yeah, my first video got interrupted by my second alarm. I have one alarm that goes off at 4:15. so I can go to the gym and get it in and everything. But when I was making my video around 4:30 in the morning on the way to the gym, my second alarm at 4:45 went off, which is my get the fuck out of bed in case you already are not out of bed and get to the gym. It's my second reminder. So what else is going on? Wanted to come at you strong and just tell you that, because you really, honestly, if you start to write shit down, you will definitely make a difference in your life and knock out that goal. But what do you do after that goal is done? There's an after action you can always do, and I promise you, if you just try it, you will take your shit to the next level. And like I said, I myself have been neglecting to do that. I've been doing it all at once, and you really need to do it separately. I'm telling you, organization is key. Kevin Hart, he's a great comedian, and recently he was in an interview, and he said, the person said to him, if you could highlight any one part of your body, and it was a funny interview, but he took it seriously, and he said, if you could highlight any one part of your body, any muscle, what would you say is your best muscle? I see that you're big into working out. You're always putting videos on Instagram and little pictures of you exercising. You're an inspiration to everybody. What would that be? You know what his answer was? He said, my mind. He says, my mind is my strongest muscle, because I know it's not a physical muscle, but my mental performance is what gives me the drive in working out, most of all, for all things, but especially for comedy. So by optimizing your mental performance, you can take your body, you can take your imagination, you can take your everything to that next level. And that's what I'm getting at. But you got to tap into strategies. You got to figure out, what else can I be doing? Because if you're not, somebody else will. That's the reason why I like working out at 4 something in the morning, before the enemy, so to speak. Not really an enemy. That's just what I say. You know, the whole concept of being up before the enemy, which pretty much means if you're a fighter, if you're a trainer, if you're some sort of professional athlete or comedian or whatever the case may be, if you get your repetitions in, if you're doing one more thing that the other person isn't doing, your work ethic will far surpass somebody's talent, if you're passionate about it and if you dedicate yourself to it. But that one bit of edge of recording your results after, and then starting your next day, or a separate plan based off of those separate results, is going to take you to your next level. It's 7:05 in the morning. I'm about to get back to my house. I hope you liked this video. If you did, I'm on YouTube. YouTube channel is Benja, which is short for Benjamin, Benja Welldone. My last name, Welldone. And then comedy, Instagram at Benja Welldone. You know, one thing about my name is that my last name, I said this before, but I'll say it again. It actually is pronounced well done, but phonetically, but it's not written that way. So that's why I spell it that way. People are like, is that how it's spelled? No, but that really is my last name. That's actually how it's pronounced. But everybody just pronounce it Weldon, and I don't correct them. I just don't give a shit. But I do agree to a degree, which is why I write it out that way. And Instagram is at Benja Welldone, BenjaWelldone. You know, when I do these videos, they're not always funny. The first one was definitely funny, for real. I was laughing my ass off by myself at 4:30 in the morning before my other alarm went off, and kind of messed up my video. I didn't want to do 2 uploads, but it was this crazy story about these 2 rednecks, and I say it with all love. I have an inner redneck myself. I love to shoot my compound bow and fish and hunt and stuff like that, but they were talking about raising their truck up 2 inches and then 4 inches and 6 inches, and I bumped into them. I was like, why don't you just do it a foot? But anyway, I'm not going to talk about at length, but I just want to let you know that all of these videos, they are for me, but if anybody can get anything out of them, it's 100% for you too. Because I really am a big believer in recording your results and progression and stuff like that, in the same way that you should be doing at the beginning of every week, to optimize yourself. Taking a day planner and filling out all your goals for the week, and then the day before, a little bit more specific for the following day. and then once a month highlighting all of your goals and important things, and then maybe even in a yearly day planner kind of a thing, all of the goals that you need to do. By actually setting goals, you're not just wandering aimlessly in the night, so to speak. By making goals, you can actually see your objective, and by setting goals, you actually can achieve them. But when you achieve your goals, it's not about taking the recognition of saying how great you did. It's about what can you do to make your next challenge? What is the next big hardest thing? If your goals, it's not just like a stereotype thing to say, it's the truth. If your goals aren't high enough that they scare you, you need to think bigger. It's kind of like if a guy has a low self-esteem, and let's just say a guy is like super attractive, athletic and everything, but he has like a low self-esteem, and he only dates like what most people call ugly girls. He needs to aim higher. In the same way, I know that I have to hold myself in the same accountability, and if anybody can benefit from this, well good. I don't claim to know everything, but I do know the fact that accountability of what you do right is important, but equally important, everything you do wrong. So if you record your results and you plan, like I said, get a day planner, and at the beginning of every week, let's just say Sunday, like I do, you make all your goals for that week as highlights, and the day that you're on, you write everything in more detail for the very following day. So you got to constantly be organized, and then also at the beginning of that month, have periodic highlight goals of that month, and even throughout the year, highlight goals, important dates and stuff like that. I promise you're going to reach that next level. I know I will. But by recording your results after the fact and reviewing them, you start your next plan with that much more an advantage than the 99% of people that do not do that. And if you already do it, well then great. But if you don't, you need to get up on that shit, because if you wanted to know how you can improve, that's how you can improve. I really hope everybody has a great day. Today I'll be at the Mad Hatter. It's this really awesome, cool comedy club in Fort Worth, Texas, and I will be recording it. It'll just be the exact material that I said last week, but recorded. And last week it was really special because it was just for me. And I had the best time ever. Nothing can replace it. But provided by there's a good audience. What I mean by that is like, a crowd of some type, because the camera isn't going to know if I'm just doing horrible and nobody's laughing, or if nobody's there because the camera is facing towards me. I'll definitely put it up, but I'll pretty much just I will be saying the exact material, but it'll just be a little bit more fresh, a little bit more rehearsed, and a little bit smoother, and a little less rigid. Last time it was great, so the goal is to make it even better. But when I get home, I'm definitely going to be making my after action report. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, hit like, share it to somebody, watch it again if you need to, watch my other videos if you want. Some of them are really funny, some of them are more, I guess, whatever this is, but they're all a video documentary about my rise to comedy and acting and writing and stuff like that. By the way, on one of my last videos I talked about the guy that who was editing my film script out in Los Angeles. His name is Ryan Rosenheim. So shout out to Ryan. Sorry I wasn't really thinking about, I just wasn't thinking straight when I was trying to give him a shout out. I was like, this guy. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to get off now. Hope everybody has a beautiful day. Thank you for your time. And yeah, just make sure you continue to get it. Because if you don't, somebody else. And I'd rather have you succeed than somebody else based off of the exact information that I'm already doing and other information I could already learn. So have a beautiful day. Thank you for your time. Love you all. Stay black. I'm out. Peace.